there YouTube, welcome back to Maxwell Stars Beer Review, and I thought I'd do a quick video, a bit of a response to a video that Albino Rhino posted about 2 weeks ago now, where he did an entire video of all the video gear or camera gear that he uses on his channel. And I thought I'd, go into a little detail and show off the camera gear that I've got. Now, most people who know me, or most people who circulate around, BDU, Bearded Weebs United, on Wednesday nights, on Albino Rhino's channel, know me as a bit of a photo buff. So I've got a lot of camera gear. I could go into incredible detail, say, about my film camera collection, and I can do that at a future time if there's enough interest to do that. But really right now all I want to do is do a quick short-ish video about the camera gear that I use on Maxwell Stars Beer Reviews. And sitting right here I have this old Kodak Dinosaur from 2005. This is my old Z700 4-megapixel camera, beat up, and was the very first camera that I used in recording Maxwell Stars Beer Reviews in the first 60 episodes of the show. Now this particular camera has been with me a very long time. I've had it now for 11 years, 2005, 2006. And this thing has been everywhere with me. I took this to Calgary back in 2006, and it's been all the way from Prince Edward Island all straight across to BC. Seen 9 provinces, and 9 provinces? Yep, 9 provinces, and I think 2 or 3 states. So it's been everywhere. But as far as video recording goes, it records at 640 but 480 at 15 frames a second, which I used on a lot of my early videos, but those videos are really quite, crappy looking. But shortly after I started the channel, like I said, around 60 reviews in, I originally bought this for my late fiance so she could have a nice camera for a trip she was going to go on, which ended up getting poo-pooed. But I ended up getting this camera, which wound up being used more for my from the YouTube show, and was responsible for recording about 500 or 600 episodes. This is a Fujifilm Finepix S 2950. Where's the 2950 on here? Yeah, it's a 2950. Anyway, it's a 14 megapixel camera with a tremendous 18 times zoom on it, and it's that one where if you turn it on, watch some of my old videos and you hear that click whir. Well, it's not doing it now. Yeah, that's why I won't turn on. Whatever. But you can hear that. Anytime there was an old video where I zoomed in and out and you heard that click whir. This thing was noisy as fuck. But it did have that super macro mode that was responsible for making all those cool beer images that I did back in the early days of the show, and I still try to do now with my current camera. And I also have in behind here, now this is my second tripod I used for the show. The first one disintegrated over at Heist Almighty's place. This is my old Velbon that I got for $7 or something at the Salvation Army, and it works, but it's really geriatric and old, and I use it occasionally for a light stand or something and when doing photography stuff, but it's just an old piece of crap, to be honest. So moving right along, what do I use for video gear now? Well, this big old thing right here. It's hard to get that in the entire frame. Let me zoom out a little. Yeah, so this is a Manfrotto tripod. This is my big boy. This is a, where's it got it written? See if you can see that. It's a 190 Nat 2. It's about a 15-year-old painted green to, be camouflaged in nature. But it's a massive Manfrotto tripod, but it's also a really very sturdy and nice tripod, and it's one of my favorites. My other tripod that I use is my MePhoto. This is made by a company called Benro, or at least MePhoto was their own company, then got bought out by Benro, but they make quality tripods, and this one is no exception. Comes in a nice carrying case, which is small enough to put in a suitcase on the short end side. So I love love traveling with this thing. I brought it up the last 3 years. last 2 years running. We'll bring it up again this year up to Chad's Albino Rhinos Festival. One of the things that this thing does is one of the leg screws off, and then the center column comes out, so you can actually use that as like a monopod. So yeah, let's get down to the cameras themselves. The oldest one I've got is, or at least the one I've had the longest, is this guy. This is my Sony a77 II. This is my second DSLR. My first DSLR was the one that I started with in early 2014 when I started recording better quality videos for the channel. This one was kind of its replacement because I wanted to get a higher end body for photography stuff. But what I've got on this is a 24 megapixel still camera, but it also records in 1080 at 60p. In AVC HD as well as XAVC, but I don't use XAVC. And one of the things that I really like about this camera is that when recording video, this screen pops up so that it rotates so that I can bring it around and you can see, hey look, there's me. How you doing? So you can see what you're doing basically at the back. And that lens is a 16 to 50 2.8 lens SSM, which does offer some shadow depth of field. But I don't use that one as much anymore because I prefer to have a smaller size camera, especially when I'm traveling. Just because it's not so much that one gets heavy, but the image quality on it is not nearly as nice as this guy. This one's my favorite, and this is the one I've been using the most lately on the channel. This is my Sony a7 II, which is a full-frame mirrorless camera. And if you don't know what a mirrorless camera is, and you probably either don't care or you do, mirrorless cameras don't have a mirror box in them, so you can see the sensor right there. And one thing about that sensor is it's the exact same size as a piece of a frame on a 35mm camera, like a film camera. So it's got the same depth of field. The focal lengths on lenses work exactly the same, because your typical DSLR, such as this one, and this one's kind of a different story, I won't go into too much detail, this one's got a small postage stamp size sensor, whereas this one is twice the size. Now this is my favorite camera, and this is on my most recent videos that I've been recording down here in the basement. This is the lens that I've been using. This is my Carl Zeiss 55mm f1.8 sonar lens for the Sony E-mount system, and this is a gorgeous lens. It's actually, if you go to DxOMark, it's one of the sharpest lenses on the planet right now. There's been a few more come out that are sharper, but this one kind of surprised everybody when it first came out, and it's a terrific lens. And I've been using it for that shadow depth of field when it comes to, like, say, the beer pictures that I post on the for the thumbnails on the videos, as well as for shadow depth of field in my most recent videos where I've done, like, say, I've been doing them in front of my record collection rack, but they've been nicely blurred out. It's hard to see. Sorry, I don't have better lights to work with here, but now one of the things I really like is this one had it where it's got the headphone jack on the side here, or sorry, a microphone jack right there on the side. This one has a step up from it. This guy's got not only a microphone jack, but also a headphone jack. And what you can do with that is, for some videos like on my sister channel, Low Tech Reviews, which I do like camera gear and other nerdy stuff. And I only have 3 videos on there so far, but I'm planning to do more. And what I do is that I have a Logitech headset that plugs into a microphone and headphone, and that way I can listen to what I'm saying and make sure that my levels are okay, and put a little bit of extra production value. And I don't use it that much on Maxwell Stars Beer Review, but I might in the future. Who knows? And if you turn it on, your areas of your frame are overexposed, you'll see where they're all kind of a zebra pattern. That lets you know what areas of the image are blown out. So if I bring it down, then you can see where everything starts to make more sense. And also, when recording in video mode, I can control the frame rate of the video. I can control my aperture in my video as well, and my ISO independently, and the focus as well. so that the camera doesn't do anything, it just does exactly what I want it to do. And you might notice in some of my earlier videos where I was still getting used to this camera, that some of the focus tends to be shit, and still is, and probably will be for the near future. But and a lot of in my most recent videos where I've been doing them in front of the record rack, I've been locking the focus manual and just doing it that way. Now, the 55mm lens is nice, but I also have this guy for general purpose. This is another Carl Zeiss lens. Beauty. This is my 2470 f4, and it goes on the same way. And I use this for most reviews when I'm I can't predict how far away I'm going to be from the subject. So like Chad's Place or at Fuzz's or something, I'll put this lens in the front of the camera and I can zoom in so that I can get a proper image quality or proper framing. You know what a zoom lens does. In lay terms, that's about a 1x zoom to a 3x zoom, which doesn't sound like much, but it's a $1,200 lens, so, and with a couple scratches on it from use. Another lens that I have, and one of my favorite lenses, and as far as photography goes, this has won me more photo awards than any other lens that I've owned. I love this focal length, and this is roughly equivalent to 1x, but it's a prime lens, so it doesn't zoom. And then same thing with this 55, that doesn't zoom at all, but it's kind of like having 2x. Anyway. So it gives a nice framing, and this one I used it all at the festival last year at Chad's. I used it at the St. John Beer Fest. I've used it in other places for filming lens, and because it has a wide open aperture of f2 compared to this one at f4, this one literally lets in 4 times the light. Anyway, very nice lens and one of my favorites. And my last camera that I use is this guy, which is much smaller. This is an NEX6 with the Pancake 16 to 50mm zoom lens on it. And I have different reasons for liking this. One thing being, of course, it's nice and small. I can put it in a camera bag. It's the size of like a pair of binoculars. It doesn't have a headphone jack, it just has HDMI out, which is fun. All my cameras have HDMI out, but I'll show you what it does briefly here. So if I plug it in, notice the screen goes blank, but you'll see up on my monitor behind, you can see exactly what I'm doing. Change my settings here, brighten that up. Yeah, so ooh, trippy. Alright. And I use that, of course, for the low-tech reviews. This has got the smaller sensor in it. Let me change that frame. Oh, yeah, so it's got the smaller sensor in it. So I have some APS-C lenses for it. And this one has become one of my most recent favorites. And I'll show you why. This one has become, say if I'm filming on this guy, I'll have this guy on standby. And this will be what I'll take my pictures with for my thumbnails. And I'll demonstrate on that glass of Martello Stout. One of the great things about this is that because this is a 50mm f1.8 lens for crop sensor, it has that tremendous depth of field. And look at it when it's out of focus. Everything is so milky, buttery smooth. It looks like those professional images. Now, so you can easily take pictures using that come out, pretty damn nice. That looks good enough to use for a thumbnail. It's just a demonstration. But to add that extra kick of light, I have this flash. This is a Metz Mecha Blitz 52 AF1 digital flash for Sony. I have it adapted from the old Minolta shoe to go to multi-interface. But give it a little extra kick of light. And one thing, because the ceiling in here is white, I can tilt the flash head around the back behind me and put it in TTL mode so it guesses how much light it needs. And poof. There we go. And then I wind up with a nice, well lit, nicely in focus image. That's my standard gear. My tripods and my cameras. The other one thing I didn't show yet that I use in almost every review is this thing, which I think is almost exactly the same microphone as what Chad has and what Chris Lysak has on In the Basement. This is a Takstar SGC 598. I think that also comes branded as Neewer, but and it's got a broken peg here. But this is a nice little shotgun microphone that slots on top of the camera. What I can do, take the tab out, pop that on top, and plug that in here. And one thing I will say is that you have to turn it on. I can't begin to tell you how many drunk reviews I've done where I forgot to turn the microphone off, or turn the microphone on, so that and then I ended up having to scrap and redo the review. But you know, drunks will be drunks. So yeah, and be honest, that's a cheap ass microphone. That thing set me back like $40 in 2014. Order it out of China, and it's almost as good. It's not as good, but it's almost as good as like a Rode. And lastly, the newest addition to my camera collection. This is my GoPro Hero 3 Plus, which is I'm of course a waterproof camera. Record at 1080p at 60 frames a second, and it'll record at 720p at 120 frames a second, so it'll do slow motion video. But one of the coolest things is it's a wearable camera, so I'm thinking I'm going to wear this at the Albino Rhino Beer Fest, and I'm going to wear this to, I may even wear it to the next weekend to the St. John Beer Fest. And I got a bunch of accessories for it. One of the things I've got for it is I just bought this at Best Buy. It's an Insignia 5-piece accessory kit for GoPro, which has the shoulder, like the mounted to yourself. It has the headband, has a couple of extra clips, and of course the tripod bracket, so you can mount it to a normal tripod, and a carrying bag, which I don't plan to use. And the other thing I got is, say I want to do some blogging, and say if I go for a road trip, to say I've been thinking about going up to Fredericton and doing a road trip. Now I can record video from the car, and you know, state progress and do B-roll. It sounds like fun, so I really want to try it. So that's a suction cup mount, so I can plant that to plant my GoPro to the window. Yeah. Oh, and last thing is, of course, my cell phone, which I just recently upgraded. I've got I just bought a second battery for it so that I can have a backup, and I just put a 128 gigabyte memory card in it to maximize its video storage capability. So if I'm on the fly and want to do videos, I can do it right from my my LG G4. But yeah, that's my video for my camera gear that I use in the Maxwell Star beer review. Wow. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I guess cheers. And if you guys want me to do a video on my my film camera collection, let me know, because I'd be more than happy to do one, as well as my record collection. Alright, I'm going to sign off now. Talk to you folks later. Cheers.